you think suffer from a heart disease?
Well, the shocking truth is 48% of people suffer from heart disease just in the US.
Heart disease is the leading cause of death in India, America, Europe, and 75% of the other third world countries. 25% of them die without even knowing that they have a heart disease in the first place.
And this is a problem that I also personally encountered. When 3 of my relatives back in India died without even knowing that they had a heart disease just last year. And 4 out of 5 people are misdiagnosed with heart disease, and we actually have data to back that up.
Me coming from a family with a history of heart disease, I was always paranoid about getting heart checkups. But heart checkups aren't cheap either. When we ran a survey, 95% of them coming from a family history of heart diseases also wanted to get a heart checkup, but they only couldn't because it was very expensive. And heart monitoring devices are really expensive.
And
I've always wished I had a device I could put out of my pocket, keep next to my heart, and check if I have a heart disease.
well, it's not a wish anymore because Heartpal comes at only $30.
Well, our ML model has an accuracy of 98.81%, and we train it with over a million data sets, which makes it 5 times better than doctors. I'm not kidding about this, guys.
Heartpal is extremely affordable. There are competitors for Heartpal, but we have engineered it to be only $30. Whereas there are other devices are always more than $100. Like the smartwatch is $130, and Apple Watch comes at a mind-boggling cost of $350. I know what you're thinking. Really, there's no way using machine learning to identify heart diseases. There's no way you've built it, but we actually have. That's the app working with the hardware device. That's the hardware device in real life. We couldn't bring it up because the 3D printer wasn't working, and that's the 3D render of the hardware device. And we are actually gonna patent this and get an FDA approval, and we are working on that. It's in process.
Heartpal has 2 verticals of revenue. One is the hardware device that is sold directly to the consumer and can be bought from the nearest superstore or even online retailers like Amazon. And this hardware device is connected to the app through IoT.
And then there's the software which will be sold at a subscription model for $2 a month or $20 a year. And it can be purchased in the app. By the end of the first year, we are targeting 8,000 customers, which will bring us 240,000 in revenue.
After selling our first 2,000 units, the cost of making a single device will only be $15, yielding us a profit margin of 50% with an annual profit rate of $120,000 just in the first year.
We plan to do the research, development, and testing of this product because it's in medical space in 3 phases.
And we are here to acquire funds for the first and second phase together for a total of $31,000, which will help us cover the cost of the hardware manufacturing, software development, and also claiming patents and copyrights for this product. Well, more than anything, we're trying to sell peace of mind over here. Peace of mind to people seeking regular heart monitoring, or just peace of mind to people coming from a family history of heart diseases.
We are planning to get to 8,000 customers by strategically partnering with super centers like CVS Health and Best Buy, and placing our products in shops all over the US, and then expanding to other countries in the world. We form an amazing team together. Me and Dhanush have won one of the biggest hackathons of the world together, and he is an open source contributor and a mobile app developer.
And Dravya has already had 2 startups that got acquired for over $500,000, and he's also an ML enthusiast.
Well, with this funding, we plan to disrupt the medtech industry by making heart monitoring accessible and affordable at the same time.
We are not just solving any problem here, we are solving the world's problem. And with this funding, we can possibly save millions of lives across the globe.
And would you help us save millions of lives by
helping us
in this journey?
Thank you.
So have you guys looked into the regulatory concerns around actually doing this?
So we are trying to get an FDA approval for this, and when we are talking about FDA, we are talking about type 2 FDA. So yeah.
Yeah. So type 2 is like easier to get in general because it's especially for these kind of devices, and it also has like software into it. So that's what we are aiming for, and we also do have mentors who have worked in the biotech space, and like they have gotten FDA approvals, and they are like actively helping us get there.
So a type 2 medical device can only be used underneath the direction of a physician if it's going to be used for any type of diagnostics.
Yeah. So we are not aiming to be like a diagnostic device because like that's difficult to get approved by the FDA. So like we are more of like
people can use it under their own risk kind of device.
So it's more like an Apple Watch because Apple Watch does not aim to be diagnostic, but in an affordable range.
What are you guys measuring in terms of?
We are not measuring anything. We are just telling the patients if they have a heart arrhythmia. Heart arrhythmia is like a symptom of a heart disease. So we're just telling them if they have a heart arrhythmia. So if they have a heart, it's more like a thermometer. When you have a fever, your first goal is a thermometer, right? So your first goal in this case would be Heartpal.
So other devices that measure arrhythmia, you're saying that yours is just a whole lot more sensitive and accurate?
Yeah, it's accurate and it's also affordable. It's like only $30. Well, there are Apple Watches that do this, but Apple Watches are like $358 plus. But ours is $30.
So we have achieved this by making the software really good. So it's like mainly the hardware is really cheap because everything is done through the app and then our servers, like all the computation. So all that the hardware does is like it records and sends it to the app.
So is it more just remote monitoring that you're after? Is this is meant as a consumer device? That
Yes.
Yeah.
Might not need class 2, FDA approval for something that's just seen as something that the consumer uses for their own almost recreational benefit. I guess that you'll need to think about both what James is saying, but also you want to stay in that space where you're not competing with the ones that are validated, for medical use versus something like just be an early warning system that you can use at home.
Because usually doctors also have like a lot of expensive medical devices and they don't need this affordable range. So that's why we're going for like direct to consumer.
I really like that you guys are looking at an overserved market, trying to position a lower priced, lower functioning product.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people miss that, right? They're always thinking about adding things. Yeah. And I like that you're talking actually about going to a pretty large market that's that's right now just not being served, right? Exactly. So I really like that. I also like your idea that you guys are playing with. I call it like a razor and blades business model, where you are charging for a supply, an ongoing charge, right? Like you need the razor blades, right? You're selling the razor, but then you need the razor blades. And I really like that you guys are thinking in that way. A question that I have is around that $30 price point and also how you're going to accomplish that business model in a B2B environment. So you're talking about selling through stores, right? You're not talking about selling direct to consumers. And so you also talked about having a 50% profit margin with a $15 cost. So $30 is your price to CVS, is that right?
Yes, we are selling that to the consumers. I mean, like CVS Health and Best Buy is just one way of getting that, but at the end of the day, it's just the consumers.
So like we also place it in online marketplaces like Amazon. Basically, any way we can get there. Yes, CVS will also take a cut, so we need to think about that. But basically, we want it like in the super centers. We want it to the customer. Like anyone can walk up to the stores and buy it, or like just look it up online and buy it.
Which is a great goal, but maybe think a little bit more about that thought process of how you are going to get to the consumer, because it sounds great to work with CVS, but they're going to take part of the profit, right? Exactly. And then how are you going to get that subscription and all of those little things? But I think you guys are off to a nice start. Yeah.
Great. How much would an FDA approval cost?
So it will range anywhere around $5,000 to $10,000. Yeah, that's why I think.
How do you know that that's right?
Yeah, because
could it be a lot more?
Yeah, it can be a lot more.
It can be a lot more, but
why get it at all? Why not just?
Because I think we cannot bypass that, because there were other companies who in the medtech space who went without an FDA approval, and FDA just came and shut them down.
Yeah.
Right, time's up for questions. Judges, go ahead and
guys.
start.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What are you doing?